Welcome to our first Alamo Together Student Forum. My name is Asia Leha, and I'm the 2021-2022 Alamo District Student Trustee. As Student Trustee, I believe it's so important to hear the voices of students. The goal of the Student Trustee is to represent all of the students at the board level and at the district level. So it is so important to hear your feedback, your thoughts, what you're going through. We want to hear all of that so that we can make the necessary changes at the district level and at the board level for you. The student forum here features special guests and covers a variety of topics that are important to the student experience and align with the Alamo College District, mission, and values. We're holding today's student forum in Palo Alto College's Student Center. Thank you so much for having us here, where you can join us live or continue tuning in on social media. Throughout our discussion, we encourage viewers to engage with us on social media by leaving your questions, comments, or feedbacks, and we will conclude the end of today's meeting with a quick Q&A. And if you are here on the Palo Alto campus, please pop in, say hi, watch us, ask questions, and any feedback you have, we really, really do want to hear. Today, I'm excited to be joined by student leaders from across the Alamo College's district who will share the impact of their student leadership involvement. And we'll talk about the student leadership programs that the Alamo Colleges currently have. I would like to welcome Dr. Mike Flores, who is the Chancellor of the Alamo's District Colleges, and he has been a strong advocate for advancing the student success of our students and colleges, especially during this pandemic. Dr. Flores. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I want to thank Asia. Thank you, Ms. Leha, and thank you to the student leaders for inviting me to give this welcome and introduction. I think it's exciting in multiple ways, right? Our students, 65,000, exercise leadership each and every day. Being able to meet the demands not on campus or online academically, but also being able to meet competing demands on their time, whether it's work, whether it's family obligations. Those are leadership skills on a daily basis, I think. And I'm particularly proud of our student leaders here today and the student leaders that I've had the fortune to work with and through each and every day and over close to 20 years here at Alamo Colleges. Student leadership formally has been a priority for the Alamo Colleges, and we can see it with the welcome and introduction by Ms. Leha. Our board actually established the student trustee position over 10 years ago, and at this time our board was the first to be able to do so and is only one of two within the state of Texas to be able to have a student voice formally on the dais. So I want to thank and congratulate both our student trustee, Ms. Leha, and Talia Christian, our student trustee designate, for being here. And Nico, thank you for being here as well as part of SDC. And I think as we mentioned the different acronyms or the different groups, it's evident how student leadership is part of daily life throughout the Alamo Colleges district. As Ms. Leha mentioned, student voice is so critical to each and every one of us, faculty, staff, working within Alamo Colleges, and to ensure that we can have conversations about critical issues, whether that's academics, perhaps that's co-curricular activities, that could be challenges that have existed, but perhaps have been compounded by COVID, such as mental health, and being able to meet the increased demand outside of the classroom for needs such as food, housing, or emergency grant aid assistance. So thank you, Asia. I want to thank our student leaders for inviting me to be here as part of and to give a welcome as part of the first ever inaugural Alamo Together Student Forum. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Flores. I am so excited to talk about student leadership. I can only say the stories that I've had so far and being immersed in this, but having the great leadership that Dr. Flores is able to provide, and all of our wonderful advisors and mentors who have been able to kind of guide us into the roles that we have. It's amazing, and truly we are all so grateful. So I am excited to talk about student leadership. And before we get started, I'd like for all of us to introduce ourselves. our home colleges, and our involvement in various programs, clubs, and organizations. I'll go first, and then I'll make my way over to you guys. So I'm Asia Leha. I'm the 2021 Student District Trustee Primary. I also serve on the executive board of the Student District Council, which we call SDC, and I am the parliamentarian of the SGA, which is the Student Government Association at San Antonio College, which is my home college. I forgot to preface with that. But Talia?
Hi, I'm Talia Christian. My home college is Northeast Lakeview College, and this year I am the student trustee alternate, and I also serve on the executive board of Student District Council (SDC), as well as I serve as the historian for Student Government Association at my home college. So yeah. Oh, I forgot we each have our own microphone.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Nicolas Flores. I serve as secretary on the District Council for Students. My home college is obviously Palo Alto Community College. I'm involved in many student organizations across the school, from the Phi Theta Kappa, National Leadership for Student Success, SLI, the Honor Society, the Honors Legacy Club, Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, the Tri Beta Biological Honor Society, and I'm not going to name more because we'll be here forever if I keep doing that. I've been here for 2 years, and all these organizations, I'm so just happy to be involved in the students' lives and making their lives better that I'm not going to name all these organizations. I'm sorry about that. It'll take too long. But I'm Nicolas Flores. I'm also the president of SGA at Palo Alto, and we also are having elections again. So I'm very hopeful that I get the position again. But I'm Nicolas. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Nico. And thank you so much for having us here on your beautiful campus. We love it here. And we also were joined by Val Morin, who goes to St. Philip's College, and I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself just a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us too in this heat.
Yes. My name is Val Morin. I'm from St. Philip's College, and right now I'm currently the president of the Student Government Association at St. Philip's College. I serve as the treasurer and the executive board on the Student District Council, and I'm part of PTK and NSLS, the National Society of Leadership and Success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we do want to make this kind of an open conversation with student leaders. So people who are listening and students who are listening kind of get a feel for what our experiences have been and how your experiences, what could happen to you if you do join student leadership. So I'd love to start with, what are some actions that you have taken that have made a difference in the lives of your peers or at your college in general?
Who are we starting with? Anyone?
And we can, if you don't want to answer, we can skip to the next one. Let's just make it a little organic whenever you're ready.
Okay. I think something really maybe more unique or cool that I did last year, where I felt like I was really able to not only make an impact on my community, but also for myself as well, was founding the Black Student Union at Northeast Lakeview. And this was right after the murder of George Floyd. So it was really a time where I think this sort of safe environment was needed. And I had so much support from staff members that were a part of student life. I had a lot of support from administration. And so that really helped me get it up and running as a new club in the middle of the pandemic, which is very difficult. But yeah, I think that was like one of the cool things. And in doing so, I realized like you could not only create opportunity for others that wasn't once there, but you could create opportunity for yourself that wasn't once there. And so if there's something you really want to do and it just doesn't exist, there's no reason why you can't look into being the first to do so.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying when I first got to PAC, the one thing that hit me was the students. Everyone's here because of the students. Our biggest job as administrators, as council members, we're here for the students. We advocate for them. I'm not going to say her name out of respect for her, but there's this one young lady who wanted to come to school. She couldn't because of her financial situation. And because of my authenticity and within the council, I was able to show her the resources the Alamo Colleges has to offer her. And it's an abundance of resources, and everybody can vouch for that. I begged her for 2 weeks. Every single day I said, hey, school is here for you. We are here for you. The Alamo Colleges cares deeply for their students. And without y'all, none of us would be here. And before the August 17th deadline, before registering on PAC, she got into school. And now she's a bio major, and she's doing really good. And I couldn't be more proud of her. One thing that I think we all need to look into consideration is that why we're here. What drives us to be here every single morning, every single day. For me, it's improving the students. With Talia and her Black Union organization, I couldn't be more proud of her. She's making a difference for not just her school, but for all 5 schools. Because the one thing that I've noticed is that once one school makes an organization for a certain group, the rest will follow. More improvement will happen. And as the chancellor knows, all we are looking for is aiming towards improvement for us and for the students. That was one thing I did, but I'm sorry, I need to stop talking. But Val, please go ahead.
I think something that comes to mind when I think of the Student Government Association is, of course, like I'm a kind of branch off of what Nicholas said, but we're here for the students. That's our main purpose here, being part of Student Government Association and being, even involved in the Student District Council. It's just taking that one little step to the district level and getting the students' voices heard, because the students, no, I feel that maybe not every administrator, knows exactly what a student goes through daily, and I feel like that's what we are here for. We're here to let the administrators know what student life is like. And that is something that, that's something that means a lot to me. And that's something that I feel like maybe I want to get out there more, to let the administrators know what it's like to be a student, maybe they can take into consideration programs to help the students better, because oh, well, like Nicholas said, there's students who have financial problems. It's okay, maybe we can provide a program that helps them out a little more outside of FAFSA, because sometimes FAFSA doesn't work always. And I think it's very important to know, for administrators to know exactly what students go through. And I think that's the main job between SGA and the district and administrators.
Thank you, guys. I think those were all great answers. And I'm going to plug this in whenever I can, whenever I have a platform. It does not take starting these organizations and being as involved to be a student leader. You can start at any level. Last year, I did not have any involvement in student leadership in any capacity. I didn't know what SGA meant or SDC meant, and it gave me the opportunity to learn those things. You can start at any level. We all want to help students. Students want to help students. San Antonio is a proud, proud city. And we want to help our community ultimately. So students, if you want to be a part of student leadership, it does not take all these amazing accolades that all of these students have. It could just take wanting to be involved and having a little bit of time to commit to that, or just saying what your experience is. Just starting that conversation and getting a little bit more involved. It can be as little or as big as you want. I'm gonna plug that all the time. So just get ready. Anything to add?
Or getting involved with the minimum and then everyone else jumped ship and you're the only one left. So
I'm so glad that Trustee Asia mentioned that, because you don't have to be Albert Einstein or Cher to be a student leader. Just going out there and doing stuff for others and not thinking of yourself, in my opinion, creates a perfect student leader. I was doing a club rush today at Palo Alto, and I was doing the honors booth because I'm in the honors booth. They asked, "Are you smart?" I said, "Do I look smart to you?" No, I just tried. The more you try, the more you fail. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you succeed. You don't have to be, again, the smartest person in the world to be a leader. Just Doing the small things, helping others, thinking of other people besides yourself will make you a perfect student leader in every aspect. That's what Talia and Ms. Trustee Leha have taught me. Asked Talia, I was extremely nervous. I didn't know what to do. And I talk a lot. And when I'm nervous, that means something's really wrong. And she said, just go out there and try it. And Ms. Jennifer Flores, who's also a person who advocated for me to join SDC. And now I'm a second in command to the chair. So again, it just takes one voice to help you out, and you can do so many things.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. How has your involvement in student leadership enhanced your own college experience? So this ties in a little bit to what Talia was saying earlier, that you can make opportunities for yourself.
Yes. I think it's definitely 360'd my life, like completely turned it around. I didn't really, originally even know what student leadership was or think much about it when I first started getting involved. I just got like this letter that said I could join the National Society of Leadership and Success. And I was like, okay, this sounds fancy. Like it had a fancy gold seal. I was like, yeah, I'll buy into that. And so I kind of just started there, and I realized that there's a whole, part of life that I'm glad I'm getting to prepare for that isn't taught in the classroom. And that's, interacting with your community. That's learning certain career readiness skills. I know how to like make an agenda now and stuff, which I wouldn't have known where to start if it was like my first day in corporate America. And I don't know why I would be making an agenda on my first day, but these little things that I just learned all these little skills. I learned how to sit in this chair and talk on a microphone, which I definitely didn't do before. And so just being able to like almost familiarize myself with those things in a really safe environment, which is, I think, what's so amazing about being a student is, you're still being guided. You have all these amazing mentors. There's so many amazing people that have kind of guided me through my leadership experience, and I've been able to, give back to, say, a officer joins this year, and I'm able to teach them something new that somebody else had taught me. So kind of just pay it forward and start that leadership cycle.
Well, that's a very good question. And the one thing that has taught me, or what this organization, any student organization has taught me, is how to be disciplined. In corporate America, as Talia has mentioned, the one thing you have to do is follow instructions. And there's no excuse for, oh, my goldfish died. No, you have to still go to the meeting. The one thing that SDC especially has taught me since of my position is to always at least tell someone why you don't go to the meeting, or establish a very steady form of communication. Communication and discipline is one thing any organization, regardless if it's a student one, will teach you. And I'm very thankful for that, because when I came out of high school and I applied here and I started going here, I didn't think of becoming a leader, period. All I cared about was doing my 2 years here and leaving. But once I saw the students become, what's the word? They didn't want to be involved. And then I understood why. Is just because they were scared. But there is nothing to be scared of. SDC wants to help you. Like you said, they prepare you in many, many ways that you're going to need those values when you go and have your own job, and hopefully if you want to have your own family. But organization and discipline is the one thing that SDC grounded into me for sure.
I think the way it's enhanced me is very personal, because when I was in high school, I didn't go to a regular high school. I didn't go to Bragg. I didn't go to Lanier. I went to a homeschool. I was at home for 4 years, and it's safe to say that my social skills went from like here all the way down here. And when I arrived at St. Philip's, it took me a while to talk to anybody. And as a matter of fact, the first friend I got at all in St. Philip's College, they talked to me first because they were lost. And I was like, I'm just as lost as you. So, but I mean, we made it, and, we helped each other. And then that friend became two. three, etc. And it became like an entire friend group almost. And when I returned for spring, these friends were still here. Yes, we weren't in the same classes, but we were still talking. And then when I joined SGA, I met more people. And when I joined SDC, I met even more people. But I think the best thing is knowing who's in your community, who's your inner circle, and who you can trust. And that's where all this has affected me, because I want to say I have better social skills now. I'm able to have a conversation with somebody who's about my same age, and I'm able to talk to people that may seem intimidating, and I'm able to go into a room and be like, hey, you know, what do you want me to do? Something that was never a thing, and now it is. And I like knowing, what the community is up to. Every time somebody comes in, they know where to go to. They're like, wow, I have a problem, and that's not something that used to happen. And so it's affected me, like, personally, and I wouldn't have it any other way now. So yeah.
Thank you, Val. That was really beautiful, you guys. I think it's really cool to see all the growth that we know we're having. And then obviously the administrators and leadership get to see it probably from like a bird's eye. So they really see our growth. But it's really something. And I think one of the biggest points that we're making is that there is a community here of student leaders who want to make the community a better place. And we know we need to do that with teamwork, communication skills, social skills, learning day-to-day tasks like making agendas. It's a lot that you learn here, and so many opportunities for students. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. What is a leadership lesson you have learned that will help you in your future career?
For me, leadership is the availability to bring the best out of your coworkers, friends, doesn't matter. The one thing that I'm going to take from SDC as a leadership value is discipline and bringing out the best in others. Some people are very, very shy of their own success. Some believe that if they try, they're going to automatically fail. I have personally seen the growth that I have brought out of other students who now, like for example, that young lady, she never wanted to go to school. Now she's doing a bio major. If you don't know how hard that's extremely difficult. The memorizations it's I can't do it. For me, it's just bringing the best out of others. The chancellor does it to all of us every time he speaks. I mean, the more he talks is the more I learn. It's just that simple. But the one trait I'm going to bring out of being a leader is bringing out the best in others. Because let's say you get a job and you run a factory, you run a plant. You're going to have to get the best out of those employees for the betterment of your position and for that company. So for me, it's bringing out the best in others. That's one thing you have to carry on no matter how long you live.
I think something for me is, maybe it branches off of this, I'm not sure, but learning how to lead and, bring up your team with you, because when I was in middle school, I had these friends, right? And a lot of them didn't want to try. And, they're like, oh, I'm failing. Oh, well. And it's like, no. And I'm like, no, you need to keep going. I'm like, you can't just give up, and it's because no one wasn't there to encourage them. It can't just be one person who believes in you. It can be like, it needs to be like kind of like a whole village, who needs to go and support you. And my dad would tell me, because I was even having a rough time in middle school too, and my dad would tell me, he's like, you have all these friends, you have the potential to lead them into a better successful path. And I'm like, I don't think so. And I've learned that now, because when I signed up last year to be the vice president, of SGA, our president went through a tough time, and she wasn't able to be there for a lot of events or almost anything, as a matter of fact. And what that then entailed was I needed to kind of pick up the pieces. But I didn't want to leave her behind either. I'm like, I'm gonna do this for you, but I need to like let you know what's going on. I need to keep you in the loop. I need to make sure that you're okay, but also still here with us, because I'm not trying to like take over your role. I'm just trying to help you be better, in your role, while also still dealing with what you have to deal with. Because something actually that's another thing. The biggest thing I've learned is you don't just stop doing what you're doing because something is happening. You got to keep going, or else it's just going to get worse. And that is something I've learned during the pandemic, because when it first began, things were tough, and it got worse and worse. And then I was like, enough is enough. I'm like, I'm not going to live my life like this. So I just made sure that everybody was there with me, and I had to make sure I was there on point. If I couldn't do it for myself, then I had to do it for my team. So that is definitely something I've learned.
I would like to kind of bounce off of that. A couple years ago, I didn't really do much with my life, and I was going through a lot of personal challenges. And now that I'm in student leadership, I think it's inspired me to um, keep myself motivated and to always stay dreaming, because there's a lot of things I want to do, and there's really a lot a single person could do with their life. And there are a lot of things I'm passionate about. I really care about healthcare. And so I really want to go to med school. And I'm being prepared in that by listening to students. We even just had our Wellness 360 conference. And we're now providing like clinical space for students to receive healthcare. And so that's definitely something that just kind of reflects, my career and something I'm passionate about. But another thing I'm passionate about is advocating in educational spaces. And so sitting on the board of trustees as the student trustee alternate, like I'm able to almost get a small piece of, okay, what would it look like if I sat on the board, say the State Board of Education? And I just would have never, I think, been able to have the chance to think like that had I not exposed myself and said, okay, I'm just going to be open to opportunity. Like, I may not know exactly what path these decisions are going to take me, but I'm going to be open to opportunity and stick to these things and really push myself through it, because I think now I'll probably always be one of those people that's super busy doing this or that. I think that's just been adopted into my life. But even with that, I'm learning skills such as being really conscious of what I could handle personally, like what my body could handle, like when do I need to take a break? And I mean, that's definitely something I'm still trying to navigate. But I learn a little bit more every week. I learn a little bit more every conversation I have where I'm in open communication with my mentors and with supervisors or with my peers. When I'm open with Nico and Val and Asia, I learn something from them. And so, just in balancing life and balancing your personal life with your work life, with what you're passionate about, with your schoolwork on top of that. I always forget about that one, but it's the most important one. No, I think it really teaches you a lot, and it teaches you a lot about different areas of life and how they kind of all intertwine with each other.
So I'm going to kind of combine both their statements into mine. My biggest, what I support the biggest is mental health. I cannot emphasize enough how big of a role mental health plays in all of our lives in this room, not just as student leaders, but everybody. Support to me has gotten, when I was feeling down, Talia asked me out for lunch. She said, "You want to be a student leader?" And I said, "Me, a student leader? You're kidding, right?" And she says, "No, I would support you. You would do great." Because of her supporting me, I became something I never thought I could become without help. Everybody in this room deserves, everyone in this campus, all 5 campuses deserve to be listened to. That's why we're here, to listen to what their issues are and combat them directly. To me, and Trustee Lay has done a great job of addressing those certain issues, because these are real life problems. Like Val mentioned with the pandemic, a lot of people couldn't go because of financial reasons. A lot just couldn't believe they just couldn't do it, but they can, and they will, because with the chancellor leading all 5 schools, we're here to help you. Everybody here matters. Everybody's opinion counts. Everybody is here for a reason, like I said before. And like Talia mentioned, talking to everybody, to Trustee Asia, to Talia, they've all trust me to support one another. If one falls down, you pick them right up and you keep going. It's just that simple. Because you can't be great without help. Michael Jordan didn't become great without his team. He needed a team to back him up. This is my team, and we're undefeated. I'm just letting you guys know. Support is the biggest thing, and mental health too. Everyone matters. Everyone's opinions matter, and I can't stress enough and that we've done a great job of addressing mental health. Like, for example, on Palo Alto, that we have the Share Center. That Share Center is actually, I believe it's funded through the chancellor. It's for financial and food reasons. Let's say you need to pay your rent on time. Well, you show them a picture of your bill and they'll pay it to you and you don't have to pay it back. That helps so many students, because a lot of the students I've noticed, they live by themselves in apartments, or sometimes they don't even have homes. They live with their own grandmothers and they need help to support their grandmother financially. Listening to students should be and always will be our biggest priority for the Alamo Colleges District. And I cannot stress enough, and I also can congratulate us on the job we've been doing helping our students mentally. If you can't be mentally okay with yourself, there is no way you can be successful in school, much less a student organization.
Absolutely. And I think all of you guys said such amazing things, and I want to hit on something each of you said. So Val, thank you so much for sharing kind of what you went through. I think it is unfortunately not a unique experience in the fact that everybody has had burnout from this pandemic, and starting school in the middle of a burnout like it's very hard to get over those humps and those hurdles. So thank you for sharing that. I know it's not always easy. And Nico, the programs specifically that you referenced that all of the campuses have, we want to give all of those resources to students. We want to be talking about these things that are available for you to apply for. I know last year I was not a student leader. I made good grades, but I was very detached. So I was not answering emails, looking at any resources there were. So I knew I was the typical student in not answering emails. But we want to give resources to students. Ultimately, there's a reason that all of these programs are available, and it's to help us. So we should be taking advantage of those. And Talia, a big point you made is your passion, and how we all have a passion for something. So that kind of segues perfectly into my next question for you all. What led you to be a student leader or to get involved in student government?
Everyone. Ms. Jennifer Flores, Talia Christian, everybody. Because the one thing that when I got to college and became a leader was how humbled I became, because I wasn't just serving myself, I was serving everyone around me. It doesn't matter how big of a status you are, how small you do help. What inspired me, it's very simple. You. I wanted to help all of you in any way that I can, whether that's watching a sports game or helping you with homework, it does not matter. As an individual, I believe I'm called not just to help the Alamo College District, not just to help my parents, but to help everybody around me. I feel if I don't do that, I'm failing myself as a person. I have a call to you, Trustee Leha, you, Chancellor Flores, everybody in this room, everybody in the Alamo College District. And I know it's stretching myself thin, but trust me, I don't have time for myself anyway these days. My mission, or my objective, as my grandfather calls it, because he served in the military, is to serve all of you. That's what inspired me to be a leader. And that's my motivation. Every time I come to school, every time I attend a meeting, my vocation is for all of you. That's why I'm here. And I will not stop until all your problems are gratified and you're listened to properly.
For me, I was not a high-ranking student in high school, graduated like complete bottom of my class, didn't get all the credits I was supposed to. I graduated on like a different degree plan and everything. So I like barely made it to the high school diploma day. And my first attempt going to college, I had to drop out before I could even finish my first semester. So I started coming to Alamo colleges with a pretty low self-esteem and not a lot of confidence in my ability as a student, in my ability. Well, I didn't even think of the word leader at that time because I was just so far from that. And I mentioned this earlier in this talk, and I've done a lot of cool things, but for some reason, nothing beats that feeling that day that I got that letter with the gold stamp on it from Anna Salas, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's been like 5 years since a school has told me like I don't know, I just felt like I was worth something in that moment. And it just like set me over the moon. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to this meeting because I'm in this cool society now. And in that first meeting, they mentioned, that they had open officer positions. And I was like, sure, sign me up. And I went straight for vice president. And I guess I just jumped in the deep end from there. And then I was like, this is so cool. What else is there? And I joined like business club and like SGA. And I was like, I just wanted to get like a little piece of everything and, find my community. Not too long ago, a couple months ago, I was talking to our previous student trustee, Darius, and he was saying, when you go to college or when you go to community college, especially and you're commuting back and forth, you get to make the decision to make your college experience for yourself. You get to craft what that looks like. And how much you get out of it is, how much you're willing to almost go for. So when you're struggling and you're willing to seek out resources, then resources is what you're going to get. When you're maybe you don't have a friend group or a community and you go seek out people, then that community is what you're going to find. But it's really up to you to be the one to create that experience for yourself and put yourself out there and say, hi, like I'm here and I'm ready.
So I would say it's a combination of what both of y'all said, but the question is not what got me to join, it's what got me to stay. And I I joined originally. So I went looking for a job because my parents were like, you need to get a job. Like, you're in college, but you need to get a job. So I tried looking on college because I was like, wouldn't it be great if the job I had was on campus where I was going to school, right? And I went looking, everyone was like, oh, we don't have positions available. No, no, no. I was like, okay. So somebody told me to go talk to somebody I didn't know at the time, but is the director of student life at St. Philip's. Her name is Dr. Mack, or Angela McPherson Williams. And she was like, she told me, you can work here at the student center. You just go around and talk to students and all that. And I was like, okay. And when can I start? She's like, you can start right now if you want. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, give me some time. You know what I mean? But but I did start the next week, and as it progressed, she came up one day and she was just like, "Have you heard of Student Government Association?" I was like, "No, no, I have not." And she was like, "Would you be willing to join as this position? It's called a historian. You go around to each event and you just kind of like take pictures, like you kind of keep track of what's going on in these events with photographic proof." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Sure." So when I went to one meeting and then COVID happened. And right as that went along, every single member just kept quitting and quitting and quitting until eventually it was only me and the president. And I was like, "Oh no." I'm like, so then our president graduated, and Dr. Mack was like, "Can you go to this event? Can you go to this event?" And I was like, I said yes, because I had nothing better going on. I was like, I needed something to like keep my mind busy. So I was like, "Sure, I'll go to these events." And then she was like, "You heard of this thing called Student District Council?" And I was like, "No, no, I have not." And she got me to join. What got me to stay was when we did the mental health awareness stuff. And at the time I was going through, like I said, tough times. And that's what eventually got me to stay, because I realized this is what it's about. We need to reach out to students. We need to make sure they're okay and they have everything they need. So that's what's got me staying now. And that's what's gotten me to make the decisions I've been making for the last 6 or 7 months. Because now every decision I make of what I'm going to do and what kind of impact I want to make here in the Alamo College District is based on, does this help a student? Because if I just help just one, I think I did good. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a great sentiment. I think that's really important. I think we all share that. If we can just help one student, and hopefully the goal is to help every single student, all
Absolutely.
65,000. It's okay.
No,
Something
we're not
like
gonna
that.
count.
Do we have any questions from the crowd? Yes, please. Hi, thank you.
Hi. Okay, hi everyone. I'm a bit out of my own element, so I guess y'all are really pretty good, damn good leaders for doing this. So I just have one quick question, well, several questions for y'all. How can we get the word about y'all's leadership program out there, and how do you think students would like to get the word out?
Well, from my perspective, what we failed in, basically why you're asking that question is because the advertisement has been low from good. And the only way to address or make our name known is by going by the way it's most popular now, which is through social media. For example, it's TikTok, Instagram. A lot of the students love those social media apps because that's just the generation now. I believe if we use our names and put them through those social media apps, websites, whatever the case may be, we'll be more well known. Our numbers will grow and improvement will grow. But that's the only way that I see us actually moving forward, because we have signs, we have paper, but who actually stops and reads them every once in a while? If we were in the 80s, probably it would work. But unfortunately, we're in 2021 where people use their cell phones all the time. So I think social media is our best bet.
I think like kind of to branch off of what he said, but you know, when you want to promote something like this, you kind of have to. One of the biggest things I feel like most students, especially the ones I've talked to, are like they don't like to be left in the dark about what's going on at their college. And so it's like, join this, get involved. Do you want to know what's going on? Get involved, and go let other people know. It's like during the pandemic, I would have liked to know what was going on. Are we coming back or not? You know, I knew, but did anyone else know? So anytime I got a chance, I would go and tell people, because they would ask me, it's like, "Do you know if we're going back?" And I'd be like, "It's uncertain, but they're they're in talks." It's like, just don't worry about it. I'm like, we're gonna get there eventually, and the fact that we're able to have this right now is, the success of that. So I think that's the main thing. It's just to let them know it's like you want to know what's going on in your community, come and join the student organization. So yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually a hot topic in like all of our meetings. And definitely one of the things we're constantly trying to problem solve on. One, last year, Darius, our student trustee, started with the fireside chats, and now we have Alamo together. And so we're trying to continue having these conversations with students as a way to kind of spread the word on SGA, Student Government Association, and Student District Council, and of the student trustee role, which is open for all of you to apply for next year, by the way. But also through social media. So I know Asia and I are really wanting to even create, we have Instagrams for all the student government associations. If y'all want to search that online and follow for your respective school. But I know even Asia and I wanted to start one for the student trustee Instagram, just so y'all could kind of follow what's going on, so that we could share information, prevalent information that comes from the board, and just kind of spread awareness of all the things that we're working on and initiatives we're going through. So like Nico said, social media is a really big one, and then having different platforms like this.
One small thing I want to add is that, so for SGA, I'm the president as far as I'm concerned. What I want to do is have a resource fair for every Alamo College school, Northeast Lakeview, St. Philip's, PAC. The more our students realize how much resources we have, the better they'll inclined to want to come to school. Actually, Ms. Bina, Ms. Flores were the people who approved. That's a great idea. You should go work on it. But I think a resource fair and social media is our best bet, no doubt.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. And thank you so much for asking that great question. We do have one more question from the audience. Please welcome up. Thank you so much.
So I forgot my question because I got nervous.
You okay?
You're fine.
Oh yeah, I know there are like a lot of organizations that are available, but a lot of them you have to have like a certain GPA in order to get into. What kind of organizations would there be for people who don't have GPA that would apply for those?
That's a great question.
That would be for like honors societies.
Yeah.
So those are like they'll have chapters on different campuses, but it's pretty much run by like a bigger organization. And so that's going to be there's different honor societies from campus to campus that's available, but that's going to be like National Society of Leadership and Success or Phi Theta Kappa.
Yeah, but I mean like for people who don't have like that kind of GPA, like to get into something like that, how would they be able to get involved in certain organizations?
There's so many ways. You could start by going to your director of student life or your student government association. That's going to be your number one best bet. And they could tell you all the clubs that you have on campus. So I know I was a part of like at Lakeview, and I'm sure there's either similar clubs or, a whole bunch of different clubs at Palo Alto, but I joined like gardening club just to get outside and get some sun, like young professionals. It was like mock interviews because I was like, what if I have an interview one day? So there's like so many different events. And then if you go to Alamo Experience, which you could also ask your SGA or advisor, anyone.
I've been there before.
You've been,
I've
yeah.
used it before.
So go through Alamo Experience and click the events portion. And I mean, through the pandemic, if I just like needed to talk to people, like I would just like, okay, what event is coming up? Like, what can I join right now? And there's all sorts of fun stuff like painting with a twist that I did. So yeah, that's the way I would find those different organizations and events. I don't know if
The
you want to add to
one
that.
thing I want to add is that you don't have to be in all these honor systems. Like me, I'm in it because I'm just crazy. Like I want the more the better. But student life, like you obviously attend PAC. Ms. Jennifer Flores runs student life. She's the one person you would go to with any questions regarding organizations. And trust me, the more you join, the more you feel comfortable. That's when I first started. I joined the Honor Legacy Club. I met Talia, and then I met Asia, and then I just kept going. you don't have to be in all these honor societies. Honor societies are if you want to join and if you want to push yourself. If you don't, there's plenty. There's the Pac-Men organization. There's the E Club. There are many organizations that fit your criteria of what you want to do. All you have to do is go through, like Talia said, your Student Life Center, and I guarantee you'll have every question you need.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I also, with that, I want to just piggyback and thank you for asking that, is you don't have to be in an official capacity, but we want to hear every single student's voice. So you just speaking today is showing us that people are asking these questions and wanting to know the answers, which helps us in our quest to find how to reach students just like you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was
Appreciate
a
it.
great question.
Oh, yeah,
That was
that's
a
a
really
great
good question. All righty, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us for our first Alamo Together Student Forum. I especially want to thank our guests, Dr. Mike Flores, our Chancellor, Talia Christian, Nico Flores, and also Val Marin. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you want to learn more about our student leadership opportunities, please visit alamo.edu/student-leadership. And you can look forward to more of these talks. We do plan on having them twice a semester, and you're going to see our faces on campus, on your own campuses. If you see any of us, please feel free to stop us. If you see anybody with anything that says SGA, please feel free to reach out to them. Ask them how you can get involved, and we want to hear your voices. Thank you guys again, and thank you so much.